I think my body gave me preemptive COVID yesterday morning, or possibly Tuesday night, because somehow it knew that as of last night, I was going to have to watch a very, very bad basketball game between my new obsession, the Indiana Fever, and the back to back defending WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces. Um, that game was ugly. Las Vegas was bad. Indiana was way, way worse. But that leads me to my point in this video. The most important game for Indiana now is this next one, Friday night, tomorrow night, when they play the Aces again. Um, Bad games happen. They're always going to happen, no matter who you are. And make no mistake, yesterday was a reversion back to first few games of the season when they really were not playing well together as a team. When Caitlin Clark was extremely inefficient as a shooter, even though I don't think she was ever quite this inefficient. I have to check the stats. When Aaliyah Boston wasn't really a factor on the court, you have to remember she's only going to get better too. This is just her second year. It's Caitlin's first year. Um, they're going to get better. But this is the key. This is going to show a lot. Friday night will show a lot in how Indiana responds to, I don't know what you call that, a very, very, very bad game. Um, they had a lot of help. I mean, as far as being bad, the officiating was horrendous, I thought, but I'm not about to blame the refs for Indiana losing that game. Indiana was going to lose that game even if the officiating was backwards, and they officiated Vegas's calls the way they officiated Indiana's, and if they allowed Indiana to get away with everything and call every ticky-tack thing on the other team, the way they did Las Vegas. So I'm not about to blame that. Like I said, not a good game. All the stars were not good. And the fact is, it was a very winnable game for Indiana had they just been okay. A'ja Wilson, who's going to win the MVP, that was decided before the season even started. She scores a lot of points, takes a lot of shots. She scored 27 points on 28 shots. I'm just going to say her game's ugly. I'm not a fan of watching her game. I give her all the credit in the world. She works hard. Clearly, she does a very good job. And she deserves credit as one of the best out there now. And, I mean, as far as I know, she's playing on a historic level. But then again, watching her game and watching her score those points kind of made me realize why I've never really paid much attention to the WNBA in the past. She is very much representative of the old WNBA, quite honestly, the WNBA that they need to get away from. They need to get away from that just physical, slow it down, slugfest. It's not good. And the thing of it is, Indiana had a lot of opportunities to overcome that. To run the ball, to make their shots. They didn't do it. Christy Side, she's been a very, very popular lightning rod for controversy for her coaching. I've tried to stay away from that. It's hard to say, but I gotta say that when things don't go so well, she has a tendency to make things worse. Aaliyah Boston got into foul trouble, and she allowed it to snowball for there were some very, very baffling personnel decisions while she sat Aaliyah to help her avoid her from getting into worse foul trouble. Even my cat over there is meowing, saying, "Wow, that was bad." I've been trying to avoid saying fire her, get somebody else, but I don't know where you go from there. She's shown a lot of progress this year, I felt, but then, like yesterday, she just goes right backwards. And these are the teams that are going to be playing in the playoffs. It's probably going to be a shortened run. It looks like they're not quite ready to make that step as a team, but that's the thing about this team. They're going to get there. They're fun to watch. The development's been fun to watch this year, and part of the development is you're going to fall backwards. You're going to step backwards. You're going to take back steps, and that's exactly what happened. Bad shooting, bad passing, bad defense, you name it. The one thing I've noticed about Indiana, they just seem to have these periods of time where they just do not score. They get stuck at a certain point total, and they seem to stay that way for what feels like forever. They had a couple times. That's where they need to have like a set play where they can at least get to the basket for an attempted layup or possibly a trip to the free throw line. They've got to have some sort of set play for that, or a series of set plays to help get them back in the rhythm of shooting the ball. And they don't seem to have that. And also, Christy Size just does not call timeouts well. Sitting there, you can watch it. You can watch the other team just building momentum and her team losing momentum, and she doesn't call anything. Compare that to Las Vegas. Say what you want about them. I mean, less than a minute of the game, Indiana goes up 5-0 on two pretty easy shots, a 2-pointer and a 3-pointer. Their coach immediately calls timeout and pulls them over and gets everything back together. They pull out to about a 10 to 12 point lead. Indiana pulls back within about 6 or 7. She calls timeout. I don't remember the exact numbers, but she did a good job. And that's what Christy Size needs to realize. She needs to be able to have a better feel for the game. I don't know if it's just different being down there on the floor as opposed to watching on TV, but there's just lots of times that she needs to call timeout, and she doesn't. And it's even irritating Loki, as you can tell. But it happens. It happened. The key is to make sure it doesn't keep happening, and that's why tomorrow night is going to be so important. I'm looking forward to watching them and seeing how they respond to this. Bad games happen. How you respond to them is what defines you. So, looking forward to it, and I'm interested to see if, as a team, they can come back, if they take this personally and decide to really, really go in the lab, go in the gym, and figure out how to do better. I have a good feeling about that. I have a good feeling they will, and it'll be interesting to see. If not, then we'll have to try again next year. Do a little bit of personnel shuffling. Make sure Katie Lou Samuelson never steps on the court for Indiana again. I don't have anything against her, but man, she's not good. NaLyssa Smith, very, very inconsistent. Obviously they have Caitlin and Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull. Trying to get that last spot has been a challenge, They had got NaLyssa Smith, Damaris Dantes, and Tammy Figbenle. They have moments of brilliance and moments of, oh my gosh, what the heck's going on? So, we'll have to see. Looking forward to it. Hope I feel better. Sorry if I sound rough in this video, or worse than normal. But, this is where stuff happens. This is where you find out exactly who you are. Adversity does not build character, it reveals it. And that was a very, very adverse game. And they're in a very adverse spot right now. I want to see how they respond to it. And I'm looking forward to that. And that's going to tell us a lot about them. Tell us whether they're ready to go ahead and make some noise now, or whether it's going to take a year or two, or maybe even 3. Who knows? Hopefully the WNBA is changing. Again, I don't want to be salty and have a bunch of sour grapes and knock Vegas, but man, their game is ugly. Obviously, they won the last 2 championships. They are doing exactly what needs to be done. The goal of anything is to win and to win championships. But man, they are hard to watch, and hopefully the WNBA can get away from that, start being a little more. I never thought I'd call for less physicality, but I mean, at some point you gotta let them play, not be a rugby scrum for 94 feet. So Friday night we're gonna see a lot, and the Indiana Fever is going to tell us a lot by how they perform. Looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. Thank you.